That's why I decided to move out of India at a very young age.
Hi everyone, I'm Mehar Sindhu Batra and we are here today to answer all your questions related to studying, working and living in the UK. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right into it. So for those of you here for the first time, I'm a chartered accountant from India and an MBA from Imperial College London, and I make videos on all things related to careers, education, productivity and positivity to help you accelerate your career. And today I have my husband Shashank with me, who has been living and working here in the UK for the last 4 years, to answer all your questions about what it is to actually live and work here. You sent us tons and tons of questions on Instagram and YouTube, and we will try our best to answer them today, right Shashank?
Okay, let's do it. I'm looking forward to answering all your questions. Yeah, more than happy to do it. Thank you for having me.
No, thanks for being back after 1 year. Exactly 1 year ago, Shashank and I came up with another video where we discussed his career in detail, from being an engineer to moving into consulting after doing an MBA in between. So if you haven't watched that video, make sure you check out right here. So we will be covering 3 types of questions. One will be general tips on living here and the expenses, any other things such as racism, etc. that we face here. Second part will be about working in the UK, how to get a sponsored job, how to actually make sure your career is following the right path, and also what is the roadmap to getting a permanent residency here in the UK. And the third could be a little bit more of personal questions such as living away from family, how difficult it is, whether doing an MBA or studying here in the UK is worth it or not, and some general questions to do with CA as well as engineering. So yeah, let's begin. Okay, and I want to just disclaim one thing, is that these opinions are just based on myself and Shashank. We are no immigration or career experts as to coming here to the UK, but yes, we will share based on our own experience and the experiences that we see our friends and our network witness as well. First of all, I think a very common question that a lot of you have been asking is to do with getting a sponsored job here in the UK. So Shashank, I would love for you to answer this, is that how does one actually go about getting a sponsored job in the UK? So yeah, Shashank, over to you.
Okay, so thanks, Mehar. To answer that question specifically, I think there are 2 ways of actually getting into the UK market. Number 1 is you study here and then find a job. Number 2, you move here directly. Now, both the points that I mentioned, either you study and then you get into the UK, or moving directly to the UK, has its pros and cons. Now, if you come here and study first, obviously your the exposure that you get to the market is going to be much higher, no doubt about it. I think everyone here would be able to understand that. But at the same time, you also get access to a 2-year work visa, which is operating currently. You never know what happens in the future, but that's actually a very useful aspect for anyone who's thinking about studying in the UK or currently studying here. Using this particular visa, you get access to the entire UK market. You do not need a sponsorship from anyone, any company at all. Imagine you can get into a small startup, or you can get into a big company without requiring any kind of sponsorship. Since it gives you access to the market, you can prove your worth to any of the companies that you work for the period of 2 years, based on which the companies can actually extend the contract and provide you a permanent sponsorship. I think this probably is the more easier route than the other one, where you need to find a job directly to move into the UK. Now, if I move to the second part, finding a job in the UK directly sitting in India is obviously going to be a very tedious exercise. You can apply via LinkedIn, you can network, you can try and obviously use these aspects, but at the end of the day, it's going to be your network which can help you find a job, right? As I previously have mentioned as well. There are certain cases I personally know, because we used to hire in my previous firm, KPMG. We used to interview people directly from India, from various countries in Africa, and yeah, they were able to apply for jobs directly, which is a great advantage. But trust me, it's not very easy to find such opportunities. They obviously want to give preference to people who are available here locally, people who do not require sponsorship, and then find people who require sponsorship locally itself, than actually targeting people from abroad. So a lot of you have reached out that can you get a job directly while sitting in India and then getting a job in London or somewhere in the UK. Yes, that is possible, but the probability is actually much lower than what we discussed initially, where you come to study in the UK and then try to apply for a job. I hope that answers your question, Mehar. I'm happy to go into more details if there are more such questions as well.
No, I completely agree. I think the post-study work permit for 2 years really makes things easier for students, and it's reduces the burden and the stress right after graduation. So it's a great route. But having said that, Shashank is also somebody who was sitting in Netherlands and managed to get a job here in the UK from another country in Europe. So if you are studying somewhere in Europe and you want to move to the UK, that could also be an opportunity that you can exploit. Another thing I would like to add is that if you are in the UK and you're looking for a job, one way to find actually the right job, and this is a statistic that has been shared very widely, is that 70 to 80% of jobs here in the UK are found through networking. So us Indians, we are very comfortable, applying for jobs online, whereas many of the relationships here help you find the right opportunity. So for example, going for events, going for career fairs, reaching out to friends of friends, these are the potential weak ties that we should be exploiting to find the opportunities that may be around you. So I feel that networking is something that we are maybe not comfortable doing, but a lot of opportunities come from there as well. Do you agree?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think when you actually move out of the country and start applying to various universities to study, say as an example, the first thing that you will learn as a part of any course, be it a master's degree in a specialization, say master's in finance, master's in management, or an MBA degree, the first thing you will learn is networking. It is so critical here in the UK, in whole of Europe, that you have to put a lot of focus on networking skills and developing those specific skills. And it not just helps you in getting a job, but think of it from a long-term perspective. It also helps you advancing in your career when you find a job. So please treat networking as a key skill that you need to work on, that you need to develop. Even if it's outside your comfort zone, please try and make an effort to improve that.
Wonderful. The next question was around UK going through a recession and whether this is the right time to come to the UK or not. And also, India overtook UK as one of the largest economies in the world. So is it the right time to come to UK, uproot yourself from India and move here, or is it the right time to stay back in India and find an opportunity over there? What do you think, in your opinion, is the right thing to do?
I think there's no right or wrong answer to something like this. It's basically on everyone's individual dreams and ambitions as to what they want from their own life. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of people, a lot of students, young professionals who do not feel that they have actually stepped out of their comfort zone unless they have actually tried something, say studying in the UK or studying somewhere else in the world and exploring that kind of aspect as well. And I strongly believed myself in something like this as well, and that's why I decided to move out of India at a very young age. Did my master's abroad, I think I've been working outside of India for almost 8 years now. Again, from a timing perspective, yes, UK is in a difficult state at the moment, but so is the entire Western world, I would say. It's not just limited to the UK. But keeping that in mind, we have to remember that these economic turmoils are cyclical. It's not going to stay forever. Obviously, someone who's looking at the video right now may be planning to apply 1 year down the line. Yeah, the economy is going to change significantly. But this does not eliminate the best universities that are in the UK. They're always going to stay. Talk about London Business School, we talk about London School of Economics, we talk about King's College, Imperial University, Imperial College London, I should say, Oxford, Cambridge. These are brands which everyone knows across the world, and they're not going to lose their reputation because the economy is not in a good shape right now. So please do remember that it's a temporary phase. Yes, there will be issues in the shorter run, but think of this as a long-term decision that you make, and not based on just short term what's happening.
Wonderful. That's a great answer, and you've covered all the points. I think we can pivot into the next question, which was about living here in the UK. But yeah, how is it even feasible living here in the UK? I think that's a question that a lot of you asked as well. So let's address that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I think feasibility again pinpoints on every single person's own lifestyle. I know a lot of students here in the UK who are scholars and are not paying any kind of fee and living a lifestyle which is basically just focusing on their studies and just the networking events around the university or whatever the university provides. That's a very frugal way of living and making sure that you are living by your means and in your means, unless you find a job, or at least till the time you are studying. Yeah. But at the same time, there are people who are going out, love to go out, spend money. So it totally depends on one's own lifestyle. But at the same time, you can find ways around any kind of expensive situation or a problem, I should say, in this scenario. Whenever you make a decision of moving to the UK, if you do, UK or anywhere in the western part, remember taxes are going to take away a massive chunk of your income once you start earning. Second is rentals, because rentals are extremely high. Yeah, these two items specifically take a lot of your plate or your earnings once you start earning in the UK. So plan your journey accordingly. But yes, overall, summarizing, it's an expensive place, but there are ways around, and you can manage very well if you know how to budget. If you can focus on that, yes, you can manage being in the UK and manage around those expenses.
Yeah, wonderful. And like Shashank said, make a pros and cons list of what works well for you. And keeping in mind the expenses and the inflation, we are hoping that the new Prime Minister of Indian origin, Rishi Sunak, brings some changes and some positive news our way in the next year. Whoever's watching this video right now, I'm sure you're planning to apply to come next year. So hopefully this time next year things would be in a much better position. So keep that in mind. Right now what the economy is going through, things may just be different a few months from now. Yeah, anything you want to add?
I think that sort of sums up, but if anyone has any specific questions, please do enter in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to respond in the comments itself.
Great.